Hello and welcome to another IELTS Learning Tips video. And today I want to talk about getting serious about your IELTS. Often students tell me they want Band 9 or they want Band 8, and I often wonder whether they really appreciate exactly how much work it takes and how much dedication to that work it takes to achieve those high bands, 7, 8. They are not easy, and it takes some time and it takes some dedication. And I find quite often that students are a little unrealistic about their English level, particularly when they start out, and maybe also a little bit unrealistic about how much they need to do to achieve those bands. So I just want to give you a bit of a wake-up call really with this video to show you that unless you're serious, unless you do what it takes to get Band 7 and Band 8, then it's just not going to happen. So before we get started, I just want to remind you that you can go to my website, IELTSlearning.com, join me in my Facebook group, which is getting quite a buzzy place now, so I'd love to see you there. And there are links at the bottom of the video to do both of those things. And if you want to speak to me about your IELTS, then I'm happy to do that. And again, just put it in the comments and then I'll tell you how you can do that. Okay, so getting serious about your IELTS. So let me just share a few, as usual, ideas that I've put onto a slideshow because it makes it clearer for you, I think. So you have to do what it takes if you want Band 7 and 8. And Band 9, honestly, it's possible to get Band 9 in some parts of the test. But again, it is not for the faint-hearted. And there's a lot of work to be done to get anywhere near those scores. So this is what I sometimes hear from people a lot. I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot, and this too. And they're all kind of excuses really about not getting started. And I think you appreciate, if you're studying IELTS, that these things are important and you can't make excuses. You just have to do it. Okay? I hear a lot of students who say, oh, no, I don't like books, I don't like reading, I prefer just to watch YouTube, which is fine. I'm glad you're watching this, but it's not the be-all and end-all. You have to do more. So my question when I hear all of those things, and sometimes I get more than one of those things coming from the same student, is why? If you don't like doing those things and you're not prepared to do them, then why bother to take the exam? Yeah. So all of these things are fundamental to taking IELTS. You have to do a reading test. You have to do a writing test. You have to find time to prepare for those tests. You have to find opportunities to speak, because all of these things are fundamental to language. You're taking IELTS for a specific purpose, and that purpose involves you using English. And if you cannot use English well, then you will fail at your purpose. So IELTS that is why you have to take IELTS, because your future employer or your future university all need to know that you are up to taking that course or working in that job. And if they are not convinced of your language level, then they won't want to employ you and they won't want to accept you on the course. And this is the reason for IELTS. It is their guarantee that you can do that. And it includes reading, writing, speaking. It includes studying. It includes having people help you if you need help to get to the scores that are required by your future university, by your future country, by your future employer. And there is no getting away from it. And I know you see all the time, you know, certificates offered or they can fix your scores. It's just not true. There is only one way, and you have to grasp the nettle and do it. So what is the point if you're not prepared to do this? Okay, so the thing is, in order to get band 7, 8 and 9 in IELTS, you need really good skills. You need practice in those skills. Regular, everyday practice for quite a period of time. That practice might be 3 months, it might be 6 months, it might be a year. I know people who've spent many years. That's probably because they didn't ask for help. If you get help, it can be a lot faster. You have to keep doing it over and over. You need to keep repeating things over and over. You need to keep learning a new thing, say a new word, use that word, repeat it again so you don't forget it and you can use it well. And you have to keep doing those things over and over. It's not all fun. Some of it can be very boring, but then that's the way one learns a language. And each time you move up to a level, that's the fun thing. When you suddenly realize that you're doing something that you couldn't do 2 weeks ago, or when you suddenly realize that your score in your reading is 30 out of 40, when before it was only 25, or when you do a piece of writing and there's hardly any corrections. These are the exciting things, but to get to that excitement, you need to do this. Practice, repeat, review, learn again, over and over. So this is the method. Practice, improve, practice the next bit, improve, practice the next bit, on and on. So think about athletes and sports people. Think about how much preparation they have to do to be at the level that they are at. And it's a similar kind of process, because everything that an athlete or a sports person does and everything that a musician does, I'm learning to play the piano and I have to practice every day. And when I practice every day, I can see a difference. But there are times when I'm very busy, or honestly, if I'm honest, hand on heart, sometimes I can't be bothered. And that also shows me a result, which is not as good. So if you think about these people, they are all learning a skill, and so are you. Think about any skill you've learned in your job. If you're a doctor, was there a skill that you learned that you had to do? Maybe it was giving an injection or something like that. If you're an engineer, maybe there was a machine that you had to learn to use, or there was some plans or drawings that you had to learn to do. In every job, there are skills that we have to learn and we have to practice so that they become good. Okay, everybody has probably learned to drive. That's a skill. The more you do it, the better you get. The same with that. If you cook a lot, remember the first time you ever cooked, maybe it was a disaster. But as you practice, as you do it more, it improves. So any skill will improve with practice. Some people are naturally talented. So musicians have a natural talent, but they still need to hone that. So do sports people. Some people are very naturally talented in learning languages, and we probably all know those people who seem to be very good at learning languages. But everybody can learn if they put in the time and the effort. Okay, and the dedication. So you cannot get band 7 and 8 half-heartedly. You have to devote your time and your energy and your effort to it. And if you're not prepared to do that, then you're going to be very disappointed. So it might be that if you really, really do not want to put in that time, you have to decide, is it really for you? And if you can't put your back into it, maybe you should do something else. Okay, so no shortcuts, no tricks. Please don't look for tricks and magic bullets. You're wasting time. No quick fixes, just the will. And if you really want to succeed, you will succeed, but you have to put in the work. You have to do what it takes. You have to be dedicated. And then if not, as I said before, maybe IELTS isn't the thing for you. If you need some help with this, then let me know, and I can tell you how we can have a conversation and I can help you. And believe you me, and I can tell you this from my own experience with learning languages and my own experience with learning the piano, I did a lot of my piano on my own. But once I went to find a teacher, a good teacher, the difference in my performance, I'm no great pianist, but the difference was huge. And the difference also when I had a teacher to learn a language was huge. So it could be that what will make the difference to you and your dedication is having somebody to help you. So if you want to talk to me about it, I'm more than happy. Right, these are the things I mentioned at the beginning. Join my Facebook group, it's getting quite buzzy, and you can get some free resources on my website. Okay, so thank you for that. I'm sorry for the telling off, but I just want to make sure that you understand what it takes to get IELTS Band 7 and 8, and hopefully that you're prepared for that. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.